Hi, and welcome to The Leader's Edge. You must be wondering, welcome to Utopia? What on earth does leadership have to do with that? And no, we are not talking about a carnival party or a band or some kind of fundraiser. Today, we are going to spend some time speaking with Karen Stollymer, who will shed some light on how this idea of utopia is important for us leaders. And before we dive in, my awareness question for you today is utopia. For many of us, just feeling joy for any sustained period can be difficult to attain. So let's start with joy. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 means pretty often, how often on any given day do you feel joy? 1 to 3, which is seldom, 4 to 6, maybe it happens sometime, more often than not, half and half, or 7 to 10. It happens pretty often. While you consider your number, and feel free to add it in the comments if you wish, I invite Georgia to introduce Karen to the show and to kick off our conversation this morning.
It's a breath of fresh air this morning, Emily, because we have with us Karen Stollymer, Yoga Charya. And anyone who knows of Karen knows that the word joy is fitting and also knows that the word peace is fitting. And one of the things when you think of the TNT World Peace Festival, and have you ever heard of Utopia Peace and Transformation Festival? Yes, those are synonymous with Karen Stollymer. And these days, guess what she's doing? She has this beautiful, beautiful NGO called Horses Healing Humans. So we have invited Karen this morning to talk to us about the daily grind. We work so hard every day. And sometimes we wonder, how do I take a break? Where do I find joy? How can I find peace? And guess what? Karen has the answer for us. Karen, what would you say to our leaders who are just working hard down to the bone every day? Talk to them this morning for us, Karen.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Emily and Georgia, for having me on this morning. And what a wonderful way to start off our conversation with that word, joy, because that is something that we should be feeling every day. Joy is our natural human birthright. We are born joyful creatures. Think of children. All I have to do when I tell people, when you think of joy, just think of a child, right? When we are children, joy is spontaneous, joy is natural, joy is just who we are. We bounce, we run, we laugh, we tumble, we giggle, everything is wonderful and awe-inspiring and new. And, a cardboard box can entertain a child for 3 hours, right? So as children, we are naturally inclined to find joy. Joy is what we see, we perceive, and the adults in our lives are supposed to nurture that joy. They are supposed to continue to create safe spaces in our lives to allow that joy to continue to unfold and build and grow so that as we age and become adults, we naturally just move into our dharma, what we call the dharma, or your birthright, your purpose for being here. What is your purpose, right? That is big talk these days, right? Everybody wants to know what their purpose is rather than just being part of the grind and being doing a job that's paying your bills but not really bringing you joy. How many of us have a job that does not bring us joy, right? Part of the reason why I transitioned out of my old life as a 9 to 5 therapist, I am a certified and licensed speech language pathologist, and I worked, I'm a neurological speech pathologist, so my specialty was in really severe severe cases, and it did not bring me joy. It brought me a lot of sadness, it brought me a lot of stress, it brought me a lot of pressure, because I had all these people's lives in my hands, and lots of things that I realized that I was not really using what I could bring joy to people my best in that situation.
Yeah.
So joy is something that should be a kind of a cornerstone in your daily assessment to your life. As you said, Emily, do you wake up every day and get a 1 to 2 joy reading, a
Yes.
5 to 6, or a 9 to 10?
Yes.
Unless you are totally in your element, you're probably not going to have joy 10 times out of an entire day. But it's quite
Right.
possible to feel close to that, right? 8 to 10 every day. Because when you come to a place within yourself that is a place of joy, then you can radiate that into the rest of your life. But the point is to get there.
Yes.
So the question is, how do we get there? How do we get to joy?
Yes.
That's the question. That's the question, Karen. And we have lots of leaders who may be watching now, and some are going to catch us on the replay. And they may be saying to themselves, but how do I identify if I'm feeling this joy? And if I'm not, what do I do? What would you say to them?
I think people like, it's over. What should I say? It's a lot of joy is very simple, and the greatest joy is actually the simplest pleasures. And I think we are caught up in a world that is big. It has to be a big event. It has to
Yes.
be, something that other people see, or that
Yes.
something that somebody else recognizes for us to say, oh, well, I accomplished that. I did that. They're validating me. And so I feel joy. But the minute they turn away, then, and the focus is not on you or what you're doing, then that joy recedes. When reality, joy is simple. It's a simple acceptance that deep in our souls, we are joy. And that simple things, when you get up in the morning, I sat here watching, just the light come up. It was so joyful for me. It was so peaceful. I had my little cup of coffee. It was quiet. The cat came and sat in my lap. Silence. The birds are singing. Pure joy.
Yes.
Right. So if you
So
could think of
during the summertime, Karen, when I'm eating my Julie mango and I'm just happy
Pure joy.
eating my Julie mango, that's joy. And
Pure
those are
joy.
the moments that we need to savor.
Yes.
Emily, you were gonna say something.
Well, I wanted to link it back to leadership, right?
Yes.
Because some people are saying, yeah, that's all well and good. Maybe on vacation, I'll get some joy, maybe on a Sunday morning, depending on what's going on. But really, who has time for that as a leader? So I really, I want you to tell us, Karen, in terms of from your perspective, why should leaders care about having joy on a daily basis? Why is it important for them?
Yes. And
Because
for the people
without joy, it leads to burnout. Pure and simple. It leads to decreased productivity. It leads to workplace tension. It leads to lack of communication. It leads to all the negatives that you don't want in a corporate setting. Okay. So without a sense of joy, a manager will not be able to communicate effectively. They might be irritable. They might snap. It will create a ripple effect of tension the entire workplace, where everybody turns sour because no one is feeling joy.
Yeah.
And one of the simplest ways to get to joy, and it's the first thing we should do every day and throughout the day, is gratitude.
Yes.
And I think we forget that you are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so utterly blessed with our lives. In Trinidad, we have peace. I don't care what anybody says. We live a peaceful existence here. We have beauty. We have nature. And I think if people woke up every day and just had 5 minutes of gratitude, you would shift into joy, because you will see how much you do have to be grateful for. And when we focus on what we lack, when we focus on what we're unhappy about, it leads to more of that state of mind. So you really want to feel gratitude for the simple things in your life, and then focus on that when you're driving to work or you're going somewhere. The beauty of the trees, the beauty of the flowers. I see that, and it brings me joy if I'm just driving around, So it depends what you choose to focus on.
Where you're placing your focus.
Yes, yes.
And as leaders, as you're saying, it's like a slippery slope, because people ask us all the time about finding balance, feeling comfortable about what they have to do. I mean, we all have a lot, right? In every job, in every function in our lives, there's a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot for you, Karen, but you still find time for joy. So we all have it, and it's not like I'm better than you or you're better. Of course, we might be doing a job, as you said earlier, that maybe doesn't bring us joy, but sometimes we could find some piece of purpose within that that can help you feel some sense of joy or some sense of accomplishment within it, right? So link that. When I was in the financial sector, service was my thing. I love to serve, and that brought me joy. So, I might not like all the hundreds of meetings, that's okay, but I would like to serve. And so that one customer, that, whatever you could do for people and you made them feel good, made me feel good. And I think you made such an important point about external validation. So much of us, and we live in a social world, social media world, where
Yeah.
we put up everything and it has to look great and we have to take the best picture and blah blah blah. I mean, and all that's great and fun and everything, but it can get our minds overboard, I think.
That's so
I think
true.
that's what you're saying, right? When we rely on that for the validation rather than just feeling
Mm-hmm.
it. And sometimes just don't take, like I just do things and don't bother to take a picture. You know what? Because
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see, I just want to feel this moment. And I don't want to
Savor
spoil
that moment.
it, bringing
Yes.
out the phone to try to capture it. Just be in it for
Yeah.
a little while.
That is true. That is true. And you know what? Karen is offering us an opportunity to enjoy something that's different. Karen, you have a place there. Horses healing humans. Tell us about it because that brings joy.
Yes, it's horses helping humans, but that is in the
Helping
same
humans.
same genre of words.
Yes.
So we have moved into a beautiful estate in Murray Village, and it's called the Utopia Wellness Center and Stables because now I'm combining both of my brands in one location. So Bliss Yoga, which I have been operating for many, many years, and as you spoke, Georgia, with all of those transformation festivals and Trinidad and Tobago World Peace Festival, my husband and I have been working really hard over the years to just continue to bring these joyful events to Trinidad and to help people recognize that there are places, there are people, there are tools, there are techniques, there are all sorts of paths to joy in Trinidad. There are many wonderful practitioners. And what our intention is here is to have a space where people can come and shed all of their worries and just come and experience a place which brings joy. Simply sitting here, listening to the birds, watching the horses, walking around, interacting with the animals, and then of course participating in all of the activities that we're going to be launching from January. So I'll be doing women's retreats. We'll be doing equine facilitated retreats. We have the hippotherapy. We're going to be offering trail rides for people who want to come and take a little horse ride, and lots of other fun and exciting events to bring people to this awareness that joy exists. Joy is very easy to access, and we are here to share our joy with everyone.
Wow. So how many persons can you accommodate, Karen?
Eventually, when we finish all the accommodation, I will be able to
Mhm.
sleep up to 10 to 12 people. Right
Okay.
now, I'll be able to accommodate up to 6. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I do also customize events, also depending on the size of the group, I can accommodate not overnights, but I can do, we can do all sorts of different things depending on what people want. I'm really
Right.
open to customizing and letting people kind of plan what they would like to experience here.
Okay. So for a day retreat, you could have like
Day
20
retreats,
persons
yeah.
for a day
Mhm.
retreat. Okay,
And
good.
the corporate world really, it needs this. It needs a breath
Mm-hmm.
of air to come in and
Mm-hmm.
uplift everyone, because
Mm-hmm.
years of being in that corporate grind, it
Mm-hmm.
does something to you mentally. Everybody knows burnout is real,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we want to go from burnout to brilliance, because that is really what it is, right? And showing people, I was there, I was in burnout. My
Mm-hmm.
career burnout. I spent 7 years in that setting, and I had to do something. Otherwise, I knew I was not going to survive in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It was so I've taken my career though, and I haven't left it behind, but I have evolved, I have grown, I've added, and now I've synthesized. So I'm bringing everything that I have, in my toolkit to kind of come
Yeah.
together to offer everyone this new and wow, just so exciting way of presenting what I do.
That's a beautiful way of doing it, Karen. And before we leave, we just have to talk about what you said earlier. 5 minutes of gratitude can shift you into joy. If we don't
Yes.
leave them with anything else, Emily, I think that's one good thing that we can leave our listeners with. So over to you now, Emily, to wrap. I don't know how you're going to do this.
Well, I wanted to bring in peace.
Yeah.
Because I think if we do find the time to cultivate joy in our lives, we can also learn to cultivate peace, because we live in a world that is not very peaceful, especially
Mm-hmm.
right now. And I think if we look back at history, it's never really been peaceful. Everybody thinks that we're there in the worst times of the, like things are the worst at the moment. Like if you look at
Yes.
science, and it continues to be that way. But peace is cultivated within, just like joy. So let us find practices. Let us do simple things every day, and maybe take our people on a retreat or take yourself on an overnight. There's nature.
Absolutely.
There's nature in Trinidad
Mhm.
and Tobago and awesome weather all year round. So
Yes.
honestly, they're birds. Some
Yes.
people come down to Trinidad like, oh my God, the birds are like everywhere. They are birds because we have loads of trees, and maybe we should plant some more trees too. But
Mhm.
seriously, I hope the call to action, and I hope people are listening. If you really don't feel a lot of joy and you're feeling like stuck in the grind,
Mhm.
as many of us are, we're getting things done and we're feeling accomplished every day. We're getting some stuff done, but yet, yeah, we're teetering on that burnout space or
Yeah.
place. You don't feel balanced, whatnot. Pull back, take some
Yeah.
breaths, figure out how you can incorporate some practice. 5 minutes is all it takes, and see if you can cultivate some joy and start from there. And that's all
Pa-
we'd say.
Pause for a cause.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karen. This has really been a breath of fresh air. And I'm sure those who are watching or
Thank you.
listening, yeah, have felt it. They felt that little peace, coming down. Next time, Karen, we'll be doing some yoga practices.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much. It was so
Has
fun,
been a has been a
and
pleasure having you.
I'm always grateful to share what I do and to hope to reach people and to let people know that there is hope, there's a way, there's joy, and there is peace. So come visit me.
Good,
Definitely. That's a plan.
good.
Thank you, and bye, everyone. Have a
Have a
great
great
week.
week, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.